Hello everybody, this is Haidar ALcasseer talking to you, and this is the 12th lecture for the IELTS. Today we are taking essays. An essay, how to write an essay. We write an essay by using the indented Y, not the block Y. What's an indented Y? In the indented Y, we leave a space of 2 words of the first line for each paragraph in our essay, while in the block Y, we leave a space of 2 words of the first line for the first paragraph only. Then in the other paragraphs, we just start from the very first beginning of the line. Nota bene, which means a note. Please pay attention to this note. If you use both Y's in one essay, you might be deducted a lot of points. It's better and more skillful to use the indented Y, and that is to leave a space for 2 words for the first line for each paragraph. Okay, let's come now to what's an essay consisted of. Is consisted of prologue, which means an introduction, plot, the body, the epilogue, the conclusion. The introduction usually consisted of 1 paragraph. The plot of the body is consisted of 1 long paragraph, 2 paragraphs, 3 paragraphs, 4 paragraphs, 1,000,000 paragraphs. You are free. Okay, but the conclusion is also consisted of 1 paragraph. We will come to them and explain how to write them. But before that, we have things to avoid using in the essay. Number 1, do not use I, my, we, our, and the body. Why? Because don't talk about yourself or your friends while giving examples. This is for the body. 2, do not use every, no, all, because they give an absolute case, and that is impossible. You may use a huge number of, a lot of, or any suitable usage instead. Number 3, do not give any percentage or any specific number without relating it to an actual study, survey, or report. Okay, now let's come to how to write an essay. We have a question, for example, or as we call it, a statement. Many museums charge for admission while others are free. The question says, do you think the advantages of charging people for admission to museums outweigh the disadvantages? Okay, let's come to the statement and how to write the introduction for this one. The statement says, many museums charge for admission while others are free. How to write the introduction? The first thing to do is to paraphrase the statement. The heading. The heading of our introduction is to paraphrase the statement. Paraphrase means to rewrite it in other way. Okay, like I gave an example here. Some museums have an admission charge while some do not. After that, you write your opinion. In my opinion, the drawbacks of an entrance fee are eclipsed by its benefits, in the sense that the income will be plowed back into operation and development of the museums. You need to outline what you are going to talk about, and at the same time make your opinion very clear, like what is written here. This is precisely what you need to do to make it clear to the examiner what you think about the question, and also helps them to follow the rest of your essay. That means once you write your opinion, you need to give it a reason to make it easier for the examiners to know what your essay is about. This is how to get a very high mark in an essay. Okay, let's re let's go back and re-explain. When you start your heading of the essay, which means the heading of the introduction, paraphrase, which means rewrite the statement, and after that write your opinion. With your opinion, explain what your opinion is with giving a reason. Okay, after finishing the introduction, you go to the body. In the body, it's better to make it two paragraphs. This is the first paragraph, then we will go through it. After that, we go to the second paragraph. How to write the first paragraph, or how to write the body. A clear and relevant main reasons and fully developed idea. You need to take one central idea and develop it fully with explanations and a specific example. Let's read it. Before reading it, do not forget, never ever write I, my, we, our. Why? Because here we have a general example. If you give the example about yourself, that means you failed writing a general example. Okay, a major disadvantage of an admission fee is the possibility of reducing the number of visitors. This is the point. A major disadvantage of an admission fee is the possibility of reducing the number of visitors. Now, I start explaining about this major point. Museums house exhibitions and artifacts of a great educational and historical value. If the chief aim of a museum is to introduce the local community, admission should be free to the public and visitors. Take some folk museums in Hong Kong. Now I'm giving an example, which preserve historic relics and display folk customs. For example, admission to these folk museums, which are often monuments, is free of charge. If they had charged an entrance fee, many might have turned to other activities. Okay, for example, you want to give an example about your country. Do not write in my country, but just write the name of your country without mentioning my country. For example, if you are from Hong Kong, take some folk museums in Hong Kong. If you are from, for example, from India, take some folk museums in India. Do not say take some folk museums in my country, India. No, it will not be a general example. Okay, let's go on. Now, the second part or the second paragraph of the body, I wrote the opposite opinion to make it balance. It's better to discuss this. Granted, an entrance fee might have a negative effect on the admission figures, but an income is favorable to museums in terms of operation. This is the major point of the heading of the paragraph. Then I start explaining it with giving an example. Museums feature educational exhibitions of types, and this could not have been done without a sum of money expended on hiring professionals and buying equipment. The Hong Kong Space Museum. If you notice here that this one or this paragraph is linked and cohered with the previous one to make my explanation clearer, easier, and you may say to impress the examiners. I want to impress them. Imagine that you are reading this one and you are evaluating it. So it's really important to do so. Okay, let me go on. The Hong Kong Space Museum, for instance, which means for example, has monthly exhibitions on different issues, and professional docents are employed to take visitors on a guided tour around the museum. This example speaks volumes about how a reasonable admission charge is advantageous to the operation of a museum. Okay, now let's go on. The conclusion. In the conclusion, you need to summarize your main points and reiterate, reiterate your opinion. That means to rewrite the introduction but in a different way. Be careful, watch out, please. If you include any new information in the conclusion, that means you failed in your writing. If you do so, you are going to be deducted a lot of marks because, or let's say a lot of points, because you haven't concluded it. This is the meaning of writing any new piece of information. Okay, let's go on. In conclusion, the disadvantages of an admission fee are overshadowed by the benefits occurring from a stable source of income. Therefore, having weighed up the pros and cons, I'm convinced that museums should charge an entrance fee for the sake of operation and development. Okay, now when you rewrite your opinion here, clearly, but don't say in my opinion again. No. Say, for example, I'm convinced, I'm sure, I believe. These expressions to show them your opinion again in the introduction and in the conclusion. That means you are writing a very well organized one. Okay, by the way, this one, the writer of this one took 9, a perfect mark in the writing. Okay, do not forget, you need to finish this within 30 to 35 minutes to leave time for yourself to read it again and to check your mistakes if you have any. Okay, now let us conclude what we wrote. The introduction, paraphrase the question. That means to rewrite the statement. The thesis statement, outline what you will discuss in the rest of the essay, as we did in our introduction, which means paraphrasing, writing your opinion, then giving a reason. Okay, discussion of first side and discussion of second side. That means to fight for and fight against, to write two opinions. In the discussions, you write main point, which means a heading, then explanation of your heading linked to your opinion. Otherwise, any irrelevant sentence will be deducted. Then you write an example. Don't forget the example should be something in general. If you are giving an example about your country, never ever say in my country. No, say for example or for instance in, and you give the name of the country. Then you have discussion of second side, the same thing, main point, explanation of main point linked to your opinion and example. Then in the conclusion, summary of main ideas and opinion. That means rewriting the introduction with different words. In another way, paraphrasing or rewriting the introduction. Do not forget, you also write your opinion in. Thank you very much for watching this lecture. If you find it beneficial, please just press the button of subscribe. And if you have any questions, please ask them in the comments. If you have any criticism, please just write it. It was Haidar ALcasseer with you. Thanks for watching this. Thank you.